I'll call mine. I'm like, what? She's weird, right?
Kid Rock caught on video in a drunken rant against Oprah and other celebrities. Now he's shutting down his restaurant at Little Caesars Arena. Why, he claims he's not racist, but protesters say he's got to go. Time to let it rip on the panel right now. He's the pastor of King Solomon Missionary Baptist Church and the president of the National Action Network in Michigan. Reverend Charles Williams is back. And so is the public relations consultant with a long list of clients and friends, including her friend, Kid Rock. Karen Dumas is here to give us an inside look at the local rap star. Plus, we've got an expert in crisis management. He's the co-founder of the strategic communications firm Tanner Friedman. Matt Friedman is back. Also with us, businessman, reporter, talk show host, and president of the Lee Group, Mark Lee. And as always, reporter, anchor, attorney, Charlie Langton. Now, first of all, I don't know if you've seen what Kid wrote on Facebook today, Reverend Williams, but he said, quote, "I may be guilty of being a loudmouth jerk at times, but trying to label me a racist is a joke and actually only does a disservice to the black community, which I have supported my entire life." He says he's not racist at all and that you're wrong.
Well, it's one thing to say that you're not racist, and it's another thing to in your actions. And I think his actions speak louder than anything that he could say that he's not. I mean, it's quite honest, it's quite clear, in my opinion, that his statement about Oprah Winfrey, his statement about Joy Behar, he is a chauvinist, he is a misogynist, he is a racist. I mean, he's everything Donald Trump is. So, I mean, and we know quite clearly who he is. So I don't buy this conversation of, well, I'm just being a jerk. I mean, you don't pay money to be a jerk in the city of Detroit. If that's the way you feel about it, you can take your money and you can go to somewhere, Nashville, Tennessee, or wherever you are.
Well, that's apparently where he's based right now. And Karen, I understand that you actually spoke to Kid Rock at some point today, but I have to ask you, he may not have used the N-word referring to Oprah, but he did use derogatory terms referring to Oprah, Joy Behar. As a black woman, hearing what he said, how do you reconcile those words with what you know about Kid Rock?
Well, there are two different images here. You know, I've known him since he was a teenager. I don't know him to be a racist. What he said was inappropriate. It was quite lewd, and it's inexcusable. I mean, it is inexcusable. But you're seeing a public persona where people are making comments that are in conflict with the person that I know him to be. Now, you said as a black woman, you'll know me, everybody on this panel knows me, and I think everybody knows me that I don't tolerate fools or foolishness. And if there was any indication that he was the kind of person that would go against anything that I stand for, then he would be a former friend.
Did you take him to task? Did you ask him point blank about
we didn't talk. We just exchanged messages. Okay. So, but there are people in around him that have done so. But you know, it's also he kind of feels like a lot of people that he has supported have kind of fallen off the wagon for him. And maybe, you know, if they feel comfortable or offended in doing so, they have every right to do. You have a right to be offended. You have a right to not like, not support. But I think that the energies here right now, given in the city, are a little misdirected. Comments from celebrities, whether it's Kid Rock or anybody else, do nothing to impact the quality of life that we are wrestling with. Does it do anything to help Dr. Vitti push his proposal to populate DPS schools and make sure the board approve it? Does it do anything to support our police officers that risk their lives every day on the street? Does it do anything to change or strengthen the employability of so many people that are promised jobs as Detroiters first, knowing that they're not qualified? So I think that we have some other issues that require the energy and the effort. People are saying, oh, you know, we're going to take back the award. That's fine. Give back the check too. So, you know, it's a bigger story.
Well, and I think
that
our award, then it's not an award. You just pay for it.
And that's true. But you have to take that up with the organization that presented it.
They're talking about the award that Kid Rock received back in 2011. It was from the NAACP. He was given a Great Expectations Award at the time by the organization, and it was given to him in light of donations he made to several local charities after consultation, I'm told, with then Mayor Dave Bing. And we should also point out that his son is half black. His grandchild, he's a grandpa now, is a quarter black. And Some would say, well, that means that you can't call him a racist if he doesn't call his own children.
Well, slave masters on plantations had black children. Some of us are still the descendants of those black children. I mean, quite frankly, so I don't necessarily buy this whole thing about, well, because if he laid down with a woman or a black woman or not, he's not a racist. I think his actions speak very clearly, and I think what we saw in that rant, I believe what we saw when he was clothing himself in that Confederate flag, I believe that what we saw in his actions over the years, it's pretty clear that he is certainly culturally incompetent, which in my opinion is a racist.
Certainly,
Aren't we talking about free speech? Are we really talking about free speech? Kid Rock committed no crime that I am aware of. He committed nothing that an entertainer, his persona, would do. If Reverend Williams doesn't like Kid Rock, don't go to the restaurant. Don't buy the records. Simple as that. He has a right to protest the business and encourage other people not to go.
And Charlie, I would ask you, I'm going to ask you this question. Quick question, real quick.
Please.
If you were on the stage and you were drunk and you were making those statements, would you be working at Fox 2?
They'd fire me in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because if you are in the public space and you're in the public eye like that, you have to be held accountable for your statements.
Absolutely.
And he's being held accountable for what he said.
If I want to be like Kid Rock, who some people don't like,
you deal
he
with the
alienates a lot of people.
You deal
That's
with the
Kid
consequences.
Rock.
Okay,
the guy's a millionaire. He's done a lot of things.
Let me
But I don't have to like
exactly.
him. I don't have to like the guy.
Let me bring Matt.
He's a millionaire and he has the ability to do what he wants, so he deals with the consequences. And his consequence is, bye, Felicia. See you later, Kid Rock.
Well, maybe and maybe not. Let's bring Matt in here because, some people are like Donald Trump. They can say anything about anybody and still maintain a base. Kid Rock can say what he said and still sell records.
There is some truth to that. If you look at how this president became president, it was through the fundamentals of celebrity PR, which is all about making someone famous or keeping someone famous. So if you look at Kid Rock's statement today on Facebook, it's nothing that any crisis PR counselor would ever advise to any business person. It was clear that it didn't touch any human hands other than his on the keyboard, but it may have been effective enough to keep his fans coming to his concerts, which, let's face it, endorsement deals for restaurants aside, that's how these guys make money now. They don't sell records like they used to. It's about concerts. And if you look at the people who enjoy having some drinks, getting away from their families and their jobs in the summer and listening to Kid Rock, they're probably pretty okay with what he had to say. That's celebrity PR versus what we do in business PR.
And what he has learned is if your dog whistle and cat call to the racists and white supremacists out there, you can make money off of them, and they the fools that's out there supporting them.
Well, you may have a point, but meantime, Kid Rock said, according to the press release, that he made the decision to not renew his lease, which is up in April, but some wonder whether it was the arena itself. So did Rock jump or was he pushed?
I think the timing is pretty interesting. I think this accelerated the fact that he's leaving, quite frankly. There was no conversation about Kid Rock leaving, the LCA. And I think from an Illich perspective, this is a perfect opportunity to accept the fact that he's leaving and maybe bring in another business that's much more appropriate for the city of Detroit. Yeah. Was he pushed out? I don't know that. We don't know what the behind-the-scenes conversations took place, but to me it seems very suspicious. The timing is almost perfect to say, Kid Rock, we're accepting the fact that you don't want to renew your lease. Great, we'll see you. Let's go find somebody else to fill this
He also
space.
writes on Facebook that it's now up to the National Action Network. You can now take over. So what do you want to see in place of the restaurants that are there now?
Well, look, there are so many nice restaurants in the city of Detroit that don't get the opportunity to shine brightly. Look, we spent over $300 million to put that stadium up. City taxpayer money. And so with that being said, LCA needs to reach out to some of these restaurants across the city of Detroit and say, hey, look, we're looking at giving somebody an opportunity. And I'm not talking about a high rent district opportunity. I'm talking about we're going to be here with you. We're going to walk this with you. We're going to make sure you have the rent that you need. And that, to me, LCA would be making a good move.
Well, LCA say that it wants to present something that's more inclusive and more appropriately aligned with their community values.
Well, and let's and I agree with what you said, but let's not allow this to be a diversion from what everybody's been complaining about with District Detroit for some time in terms of those dollars not being fulfilling the commitment that they made. So that's what I'm saying. Let's not get distracted. If you're offended, you're offended. You have every right to be. If you don't want to like him, don't like him. That's all well and fine. But we have issues in this city. We have a predominantly African American city where the majority of African Americans don't own anything and don't feel welcome in this city. We have issues where this energy needs to be redirected. Like you said, from a celebrity standpoint, what Kim Kardashian and Kanye and Kid Rock and anybody else do nothing to impact our quality of life. And that's where our conversation needs to be.
I do want to say one thing real quick. I do want to say this. This is an opportunity to get a business in there that's a true representation of the city of Detroit.
I just left Oxford University where I gave a speech over the weekend. And when I got off the plane, I had fish and chips. When you come to Detroit, I want to taste Detroit. And so they need to have something with the taste of Detroit there.
And from a PR standpoint, they're on thin ice, no pun intended, based on what's been happening with the district. This is an opportunity for the Ilitch organization to make a really good move, make people feel good about it. Listen, this is an important part of that development. It's right on Woodward. It's very prominent. And if it's something that's attractive to the community, that will help them. And celebrity endorsements in restaurants or anything are risky business. Because when the celebrity gets in trouble, the owner of the property gets in trouble too.
Well, maybe some good will ultimately come out of this ugly incident. Panel, we thank you for your comments and insights. Much more to